She stands in front of the mirror before school. The house is still quiet. Morning light touches the edge of her face. She turns slightly to the side, pulls her shirt tighter across her waist, then loosens it again. She doesn't think she is ugly, but she doesn't think she is enough either. If I were just a little smaller, the thought doesn't sound dramatic. It sounds reasonable, manageable, almost responsible. Her mother calls from downstairs. Breakfast is ready. She pauses, looks at herself one more time. I'm not really hungry. It is a small sentence, soft, almost invisible. Her mother doesn't question it. Teenagers skip breakfast sometimes. That's normal. But this isn't about hunger. Last night, she saw the boy she likes like another girl's photo. The girl in the photo was thin, effortlessly confident, standing in a dress that seemed to fall perfectly around her body. She zoomed in, then quietly opened her own photo from last month's school event. Zoomed in again, stared longer. Maybe if I try harder. Maybe if I eat less. She doesn't realize that this decision has nothing to do with discipline and everything to do with belonging. This is not rebellion. It is not vanity. It is a young girl trying to adjust herself to fit the space she believes she must earn. And this morning, it begins with skipping one meal, quietly. At school, everything looks normal. Lockers slam, friends laugh, music plays faintly from someone's phone. But inside her, something has shifted. She sees the boy she likes standing near her best friend. They are talking. Her best friend is thinner, effortlessly. The kind of thin that people call naturally pretty. No one says anything cruel. No one points at her body. But comparison does not need volume. It only needs proximity. She watches the way he smiles, the way he leans in slightly when her friend talks, and a quiet conclusion forms in her mind. Maybe this is why. Maybe this is the difference. Later, during lunch, her friends unwrap their sandwiches. She opens hers too, stares at it, takes a small bite. Then another thought arrives. If I really want to change, I have to try harder. Trying harder suddenly means eating less. Not because she hates food, but because she believes shrinking might increase her chances of being chosen. That afternoon, she scrolls through social media. Photos of girls posing confidently, waists defined, arms slim, smiles bright. The algorithm does not know her insecurities, but it feeds them anyway. Each image whispers the same message. Smaller is safer, smaller is admired, smaller is loved. By the time she gets home, she is not thinking about hunger. She is thinking about worth. And in her young mind, the two begin to merge. If I eat less, maybe I will become more noticeable, more desirable, more enough. The next day feels heavier, not physically, but internally. She tells herself she is being disciplined, strong, focused. She skips breakfast again. By mid-morning, her stomach tightens, but she ignores it. Hunger feels like proof that she is trying. During gym class, the teacher says something casually, not unkind, not intentionally hurtful. Make sure you're staying active, girls. Then, looking in her direction for a second longer than necessary. It's good to take care of your shape. The class moves on, but she doesn't. Her face warms. Her thoughts spiral. Was that about me? Did everyone notice? The comment may have been general, but insecurity personalizes everything. Later that afternoon, she overhears her mother on the phone, laughing lightly. Oh, you should see Lan's daughter now. She's gotten so slim. So pretty. It is not criticism. It is not comparison in her mother's mind. But to her, it feels like confirmation. Slim equals pretty. Pretty equals loved. Loved equals safe. That night, she stands in front of the mirror again. This time, she does not hesitate. I need to try harder. She pushes her dinner around the plate. Says she already ate earlier. Her mother doesn't insist. Teenagers have moods. Teenagers change. But what no one sees is the quiet negotiation happening inside her head. If I can control this, if I can reduce this, if I can shrink this part of me, maybe everything else will fall into place. She does not realize that the body she is trying to discipline is the same body carrying her growing brain. And the brain does not respond to shame with strength. It responds to scarcity with stress. By the third morning, something changes. Not in the mirror, not in her genes, but inside her brain. She wakes up slightly dizzy. Her body feels slower, heavier, yet her thoughts feel sharper, more critical. She skips breakfast again, tells herself she is getting used to it, but her brain is not. The teenage brain runs primarily on glucose. It needs steady fuel to regulate mood, focus, and emotional balance. When meals are skipped, blood sugar drops, and the brain interprets that drop as a threat. Cortisol rises. The stress hormone quietly increases. Her nervous system shifts into alert mode. Not dramatic, not visible, but measurable. In class, she tries to follow the lesson. The words on the board blur slightly. Her patience shortens. Small sounds feel irritating. A classmate tapping a pencil suddenly feels unbearable. This is not personality. This is chemistry. When the brain lacks fuel, it prioritizes survival over stability. Memory becomes less reliable. Concentration weakens. Emotional reactions intensify. She interprets this as weakness. I'm so sensitive lately. I need to toughen up. But the truth is simpler. Her brain is hungry. And hunger in the brain does not always feel like hunger in the stomach. Sometimes it feels like anxiety. Sometimes it feels like anger. Sometimes it feels like sadness with no clear reason. The body she is trying to control is quietly protecting her, trying to conserve energy, trying to maintain balance. But without nourishment, balance becomes harder to hold, and the cost begins to show. By the end of the week, the changes are no longer subtle. She feels tired, but she cannot rest. Her body is exhausted, yet her mind refuses to slow down. At school, she snaps at her best friend for something small. A joke, a harmless comment. Immediately, she regrets it. But the irritation feels bigger than the moment. At home, her mother asks how her day was. Fine, short, closed. The conversation ends before it begins. Inside, she feels misunderstood, alone, more fragile than she wants to admit. She begins to notice something else. Her thoughts are louder now, more critical, more absolute. You look bigger today. You shouldn't have eaten that. You need more control. The brain, running on inconsistent fuel, struggles to regulate emotional tone. Blood sugar fluctuations affect neurotransmitters linked to mood stability. Serotonin dips. Irritability rises. Small disappointments feel catastrophic. A test score slightly lower than expected feels like failure. A delayed text message feels like rejection. Her world becomes more intense, more dramatic. But not because she is dramatic, because her nervous system is strained. She also begins to struggle with focus. She rereads the same paragraph 3 times, forgets assignments, misses small details she would normally catch. Teachers notice she seems distracted, less engaged. but they see attitude. They do not see depletion. At night, hunger returns strongly. But instead of responding with nourishment, she responds with guilt. If she eats, she feels weak. If she doesn't eat, she feels powerful. This false equation slowly rewires her perception of strength. Strength becomes deprivation. Control becomes restriction. Worth becomes conditional. And all of it began with something that seemed harmless. Skipping one meal. What begins as a small adjustment slowly becomes a pattern. One skipped meal becomes two. Two become routine. Routine becomes identity. She no longer says, "I'm not hungry." She says, "I don't really eat breakfast." It sounds healthier, more intentional, more controlled, but internally, something fragile is forming. Her energy continues to drop. Her performance in class becomes inconsistent. Some days, she pushes through. Other days, she feels foggy and detached. When her grades dip slightly, she blames herself. "I'm getting lazy. I'm losing discipline." She responds by tightening control somewhere else, usually food. Restriction gives her a sense of order, a feeling of structure. If everything else feels uncertain, she can at least measure portions, count bites, delay hunger. This is how the spiral strengthens. Stress increases cortisol. Cortisol increases anxiety. Anxiety increases the need for control. Control targets food. Food restriction increases stress again. The loop closes quietly. She also becomes more sensitive to social cues. A laugh across the room feels personal. A whisper feels like judgment. She studies reflections in windows, angles of her shoulders, the curve of her waist. Her body becomes a project, not a home. Sleep becomes irregular. Her mind replays conversations from the day. Did he look at me differently? Did she notice my arms? Did the teacher mean something by that comment? Without enough nourishment, the brain struggles to calm itself. The emotional center becomes reactive. The logical center tires more quickly. She feels both overly emotional and strangely numb. Tears come faster, but so does silence. She does not tell anyone she is struggling, because from the outside, nothing looks extreme. She is not starving, she is just eating less. But sometimes, the most powerful shifts happen in small, repeated decisions. And this spiral does not announce itself loudly. It grows in quiet habits. From the outside, she still looks fine. She goes to school. She finishes her homework. She laughs at the right moments. Nothing dramatic has happened. That is why it is easy to miss. At breakfast, she says, "I'll grab something later." At dinner, she pushes food around her plate. "I ate at school." Her mother notices the smaller portions, but assumes it is just a phase. Teenage girls change. Appetites shift. Moods fluctuate. It feels temporary. At school, her teacher sees her resting her head on her hand during third period. Less participation, more silence. When group work begins, she withdraws slightly. Not disruptive, just distant. The teacher assumes distraction, perhaps social drama, perhaps late-night phone use. No one considers that her brain may be underfueled. Sometimes the signs are subtle. Frequent headaches, cold hands, irritability at small corrections, increased sensitivity to feedback. She reacts more strongly to comments that once would have felt neutral. One afternoon, her mother says casually, "You know, Lan's daughter looks so slim lately, so pretty." It is not meant as comparison. It is not meant as pressure. But words do not land where they are sent. They land where insecurities already live. In her mind, the message translates differently. Slim equals approval. Approval equals safety. Safety equals love. Adults rarely intend harm. Teachers rarely intend shame. Parents rarely intend comparison. But teenage brains are still forming identity, still wiring self-worth, still learning how to interpret the world. A single comment can attach itself to an existing fear. And when nourishment is low, emotional resilience is lower. She does not need blame. She needs awareness, because what looks like attitude, what looks like moodiness, what looks like teenage drama may quietly be depletion. Real strength does not begin with restriction. It begins with nourishment. A teenage brain is still developing, still wiring emotional regulation, still building decision-making pathways. It needs fuel consistently, not occasionally. Balanced meals stabilize blood sugar. Stable blood sugar supports stable mood. Protein supports neurotransmitter production. Healthy fats support brain structure. Regular eating supports emotional resilience. When a girl eats consistently, her nervous system feels safer. When her nervous system feels safer, she reacts less intensely. When she reacts less intensely, she trusts herself more. Confidence grows from stability, not from deprivation. Parents play a powerful role here, not by controlling food, not by policing portions, but by changing the language around bodies. Compliment effort, compliment kindness, compliment courage. Avoid labeling bodies as good or bad. Avoid casual comparisons. Even positive comparisons can plant quiet pressure. Teachers also influence more than they realize. Comments about shape or fitness can echo for weeks. Framing health around energy and strength matters more than appearance. Encouraging participation without spotlighting bodies builds safety. Small shifts in adult language can reshape how a girl sees herself. If she hears, "Your body helps you think clearly. Your brain needs fuel to focus. Energy helps you grow stronger," she begins to connect food with power, not shame. Conversations do not need to be confrontational. They can be gentle, curious. "Have you been feeling tired lately? I've noticed you seem quieter." Opening space without accusation invites honesty. Strength is not about shrinking to fit an image. It is about building the capacity to live fully, to learn clearly, to feel steadily, to grow confidently. And that growth requires nourishment. Consistent, compassionate, intentional nourishment. She does not need to become smaller to become worthy. She does not need to disappear to be chosen. She does not need to starve herself to feel strong. What she needs is support, fuel, language that builds instead of measures. Because the body she is trying to control is the same body carrying her future. The brain she is underfeeding is the same brain shaping her dreams. Every skipped meal sends a quiet signal: scarcity, stress, survival. But every balanced meal sends a different one: safety, stability, strength. Strong girls are not built through deprivation. They are built through nourishment, through steady rhythms, through consistent care. If you are a parent watching this, notice gently, not with fear, not with accusation, but with curiosity. Ask how she is feeling. Ask how school feels lately. Listen longer than you speak. If you are a teacher, remember that energy affects learning. Fatigue is not always laziness. Irritability is not always attitude. Sometimes the brain simply needs fuel. And if you are a teenage girl hearing this, your body is not your enemy. It is your foundation. Feed it like it matters, because it does. Strength is not about eating less. It is about building more. More clarity, more resilience, more confidence. If this message resonated with you, share it with a parent, share it with a teacher, share it with someone who cares about a young girl's future. And if you believe strong girls deserve safe conversations about their bodies and minds, subscribe to Growing Strong Girl, because strong girls become unstoppable women.